Hi everyone. I've heard that Reddit is a nice place to vent and let it all out, and it's my first time here. I'm kind of nervous because I've never shared my personal experiences with anyone, let alone on Reddit. So, recently my husband has been busy with loads of work because he finally secured a deal with international clients. He spent little to no time at home. We barely had time to even have lunch together. I too was busy with work and it was hectic because my company bought a new property to extend our business and I was supervising the entire thing. I was very busy and I still took time off my schedule to meet him at the office, attend office parties, and get to know his colleagues. He would take out time to meet me from time to time, attend my office parties and all that, but that's all in the past. It's been 3 months and I was the only one taking time out to make all the efforts, and I didn't even realize it. Now that I look back, I realize that my husband was putting zero effort into this relationship. Back then, I thought maybe the pressure was too much for him to handle, so I shouldn't feel sad and instead be more supportive. I tried to help him in whichever way I could, which included creating some presentations for him. I kept on repeating the same mantra every day. It's okay, girl, this happens. He's sacrificing a lot. And as a wife, you should appreciate his efforts instead of being sad. And I endured it all. I was so gullible and stupid. It wasn't until a few weeks ago that I realized what was happening. It was our fourth wedding anniversary, and I was excited. I had the chef prepare his favorite dishes at home: honey roasted chicken, salmon with creamy feta cucumbers, white sauce pasta, and ravioli with creamy mushrooms and asparagus. I bought 2 bottles of Domaine de la Romane Conti. He loved the flavor and aroma a lot. I was even wearing the black gown he selected for me on our first anniversary. It was going to be one hell of a surprise party. I pushed the time to 10 at night because he promised me that after the meeting he would immediately return home. After months of hard work and sleepless nights, we were finally getting the much deserved us time. But no, this was the last straw. He was so busy in the office that he sent his secretary to our wedding anniversary instead. I received flowers with a note. Sorry, baby, but there's been an emergency meeting. I cannot return home today. I promise to make it up to you. Love you. I felt so disappointed and angry, but I still tried to be positive. I checked out the flowers as well as the other gift he sent me. For the first time, he sent me something that aligned with my taste. Pink lilies were my favorite. He also sent a big box with a cute floral greeting card saying, "Special gift for a special lady." I hurriedly opened the box, and to my surprise, there was a handmade journal and an art book. It's been a long time since I painted and written journals. As happy as I was, I started doubting everything. It's been 3 years, and this was the first time he did something that I like. I was so involved in this relationship that I forgot who I was as an individual. I highly doubted that my husband selected the gift himself. I had a talk with the secretary and I indirectly made him reveal that it was he who chose the gifts, including the greeting card. My husband only gave him cash. Strange, right? This man knows me better than my own husband. It's not like I was meeting him for the first time. During my husband's office parties, we talked with each other, and I think he paid attention to whatever I said. He asked my permission to leave, but I insisted that he stay because it was too late. And I also asked him not to call me ma'am, but by my name since we were not in the office. It was awkward at first, but soon we bonded like old friends. It was a special connection. For the first time in 3 years, I feel this happy and carefree. I realized that I was so involved with this marriage that I kept forgetting who I was, my likes and dislikes, my favorite food, my favorite color, everything, and adjusted according to my husband's preferences. It was all about my husband. I gave up art to support him. I didn't even like eating shrimp, but with him it somehow became my favorite. I loved pink and purple, but all I ever bought home was red and black. As disappointed as I was for his absence, I was also thankful that he missed our anniversary because, after all, I realized what a narcissist he was. It was late, so I showed him the guest room instead of driving home at night. In the morning, I wrote a sarcastic thank you note. You know what I mean. And asked the secretary to give it to him along with a bottle of Domaine de la Romane Conti. He didn't read the letter till he saw the divorce papers with my signature. He stormed into the house and practically gaslighted me into believing I was the bad guy. I almost fell for it because of his manipulations, but his secretary, who was now my friend, supported me this whole time. My husband got to know about it and fired him on the spot, which meant nothing stopped him from finally revealing what was going on in the office. My husband was cheating on me with 3 female employees. I just don't know what or who to believe anymore. Update 1. Hey guys, I'm thankful for all the support. I thought no one would read this long post, but I was wrong. I'm overwhelmed by all the positive comments. You guys have been wonderful. I've moved out of my house and am currently living with my parents. My soon-to-be ex-husband's ex-secretary is now working with me full-time, and he is kind and caring, and he is creative, which is an asset to our company. Since I'm facing an artist block now, he is helping me create new sketches, and well, it's amazing. My soon-to-be ex-husband doesn't like this and has been trying to frame me for cheating on him. The audacity of a serial cheater framing me for cheating. If that's what it takes to get out of this foul relationship, I will take it. My husband doesn't know this, but I have confronted those 3 employees, and it's even worse than I expected. Just when I thought this person couldn't stoop any lower, he surprised me. As it turns out, he threatened to fire them if they didn't satisfy him. And when they finally decided to protest, he had evidence against them, and well, you know how this goes. These 4 years, I have been living a lie. Update 2. Hey guys, thank you all for the advice and support. And had you guys not been here, I wouldn't have been able to fight against this injustice. I've managed to convince the 3 employees to give their testimony. They were hesitant at first, but are ready now. My lawyers have also gathered more than enough evidence against him. As it turns out, he was divorced thrice, and he practically leached out all their money, and that's how he has been running his company. His ex-wives have also agreed to speak against him, and so will my family. We filed a case for a number of different counts, which I can't really reveal here. As much as I would like to immediately shut down his company, hundreds of employees will lose their only source of income. The court can order anything to shut down his office, so we have been trying a lot to help them find new jobs, because even our company has a few vacancies. The final hearing is in 3 days, and I'm hoping to win this case. Update 3. Hi guys, I have good news. We've won the case. And my ex-husband is finally behind bars for 3 years. There were too many charges against him, including illegal business, and hence his company is under detention. By this time, almost 55% of the employees have found new jobs. 35% of the employees are unemployed, and 10% work in my company, including the 3 female employees. We are trying our best to help them out. It's a tough job, but with him, you know who I'm talking about, I don't feel so stressed. I never thought I would give another shot to relationships, and he too waited patiently for me to overcome my trauma. And now we are finally seeing each other. It's been great knowing him, having him as a friend, and now as my boyfriend. It's been great, and thanks a lot. It wouldn't have been possible without your support. As much as I want him to suffer, I don't want to waste more time in all this negativity and enjoy my life. NTA, I'm so sorry you had to go through all this. You are a kind soul, and you didn't deserve all these. And speaking about your ex-husband, calling him a monster is an understatement. He was such a fraud. I'm glad he's finally getting what he deserves. 3 years? He should be behind bars for at least 10 years with 3rd-degree corporal punishment. And about your boyfriend, we have been rooting for you two from the very beginning. I'm glad you are giving him a shot. He's a real walking green flag. Cheers to you and all the best for your new journey. NTA, I'm trying hard not to use harsh words because I don't want Reddit to delete my comment and ban me, so I'll try not to be too offensive. This is all karma. What goes around comes back, and I hope he's receiving 10 times what he's done. And I'm glad that those three women are finally free and doing well. It must have been traumatizing for them. It was kind of you, and ma'am, I'm happy for the new couple. You guys deserve all the happiness in the world and more. Sending warm regards to you and your family. All the best. NTA, I'm glad that creep is behind bars. He's a walking disgrace. I feel sorry for his parents for bringing him into this world. And ma'am, I'm happy for you and your boyfriend. I hope you've been doing well. Warm regards from my side and all the best for your new life. Next story. Backstory. My nephew's 17 and has lived with us since he was 9. He came from my wife's elder sister. He's never really had respect for me. I believe it's due to our age gap. I'm 30. He doesn't see me as an authoritative figure. He was held back in school before he came to live with us. He will graduate when he's 19 and says he's immediately moving out after graduation. We put him in therapy at 9, but by 13 he completely refused to go anymore. Yesterday I came home from work and my daughter, 8, was upset because she couldn't find her kitten after he got in from school. We looked for probably about 20 minutes. Finally discovered he had gotten stuck in my nephew's room. I found him under the bed up against the wall. The only way I could grab him is if I moved the bed. When I did, I found 23 bottles that had urine in them. Yes, I counted. I put a pair of gloves on and lined them up in the middle of his room. With it being Monday, it wasn't usual for him to walk in the door with his friends. Normally, they come over a few hours after school lets out. Lo and behold, he got home with 2 friends yesterday. I was helping my wife with something in her home office. I didn't even know he had people with him. He opened his bedroom door and screamed, probably from embarrassment. The other 2 kids dipped out. My intentions were to keep it between him and me, but later discuss it with my wife because I strongly think he needs therapy again. Maybe it's just laziness. Maybe it's not. He called me every name in the book, said I should have left them under the bed, and told him to clean it out. The way he is, if it wasn't in his face, he wouldn't do it. I asked him why would he be urinating in bottles when there's a bathroom directly across from his room. He told me to go frick myself, and then said he's sick of having to walk over our daughter's underwear in the shared bathroom. I opened the bathroom door to find not a single article of clothing on the floor. My wife also confirmed she consistently uses her hamper and doesn't find clothes on the bathroom floor. I asked him to get a trash bag and dispose of the bottles. He instead walked out of the house and left. This afternoon, the bottles are still sitting in the middle of his room. I've told my wife, do not touch them. He is to take care of it. Apparently, he told his grandfather what I did. Father-in-law asked me, so where'd he learn that from? Not me. That's nasty. My father-in-law further said, that's not a need for a counselor. He needs his own bathroom. Oh, okay, sure. So we'll just send our daughter to do her business in the backyard. NTA, he was definitely lashing out from shame. This sounds like compulsory hoarding behavior, but I'm not a doctor. Contact a therapist now and start discussing ways to approach this subject because it's going to be rough going for a bit. NTA, he definitely needs to take care of the bottles himself, and he definitely needs some sort of therapist to figure out how to straighten up and act like the near adult he is. Next story. My wife's sister, Anne, 29, female, is currently 5 months pregnant. She and her boyfriend, the baby's father, have hit a rough patch, and Anne came to stay with us. She's been living with us for about 6 weeks now. Her job allows her to work from home, so she pretty much spends all of her time at our house. Both my wife and I work outside of the home, so Anne is at home by herself a lot. For the most part, she's a good house guest. She's not overly messy and is mostly pleasant to be around. But pregnancy is weird. I understand hormones are a thing. Anne will have mood swings and gets emotional really easily. She also gets cravings, which for some reason have fallen on me to solve. My wife has sent me out of the house at all hours of the day to get something for Anne or send me on errands after work to pick up something specifically for Anne. When I protest to my wife, she says that Anne is going through an incredibly hard time and we need to be supportive of her. I kind of blew up at my wife when she sent me out to get Anne some fast food at 1 a.m. this past Saturday. I told my wife she should go, but she said she had to get up early for an appointment the next day. I ended up going, but told my wife that I'm done with this because I'm not an errand boy, nor am I the father of Anne's kid. The next day, it was just Anne and I at our house while my wife was out running errands. I made myself a sandwich for lunch, and when Anne saw it, she said it looked really good and asked if I could make one for her too. I told her the ingredients were still on the counter so she could make one herself. She said she was feeling lightheaded and needed to sit down, but that some food would help her. I tried to tell her no, but she started getting emotional and saying how hard pregnancy is when you don't have a partner. I said fine and went to make her a sandwich. But then she told me that I would have to heat the lunch meat up because her doctor told her not to have lunch meat unless it's heated up first. At that point, I told her that I'm not her baby's daddy, nor am I her servant. I told her I've tried to be supportive and helpful, but that I'm done playing the role of her partner. I told her that, out of courtesy, I've given her privacy regarding her relationship issues, but that she's going to need to figure out a plan soon because this current situation isn't working for me anymore. Anne started crying, and I ended up leaving to give myself a chance to cool down. When I got home, my wife was pretty much waiting for me and immediately laid into me. She told me I was a huge a-hole for not just making Anne a sandwich and an even bigger a-hole for pretty much threatening to kick her out. She said that I should have known better than to bring up her relationship and that it was a huge jerk move. My wife has always said that this would be temporary while Anne figures out her stuff. But the further Anne's pregnancy goes, the less progress I see towards a solution. NTA. She's pregnant, not sick. Make her own damn sandwich. Seriously, though, pregnancy is super hard and she's having a rough time personally. But that doesn't make you and your wife her servants, and it sounds like you both have been really kind and accommodating. Info. Any other family members she can stay with for a while? Parents? I'm not saying turf her out on her ear, but maybe it's best for all of you if you can have a break from each other. NTA. If your wife wants to be her sister's primary support system during this pregnancy, that is her choice. But you are allowed to set boundaries. Catering to her cravings, particularly middle-of-the-night ones, is a very reasonable boundary for you to set. You need to have a serious discussion with your wife that is not a reaction to one of you getting mad. Sit her down and tell her that you are no longer willing to be at your sister-in-law's beck and call, or hers for sister-in-law related tasks, and that there needs to be an agreed-upon end date for your sister-in-law living with you. Your sister-in-law is an adult with a job. It is not unreasonable to expect her to be working on a plan that does not include living with you long-term. If your wife is not willing to accept your boundaries in this situation, then there are larger problems in your marriage than your sister-in-law. Next story. I, 19, male, visited the zoo today with my family, and we were checking out the koalas, who I was especially excited to see. You may not know this, but koalas apparently need over 18 hours of sleep a day to function, or else they can get quite unhealthy quite quickly. And so any exhibit of them at a zoo will often come with an expectation that you maintain a certain level of silence while observing them. You are made to go through 2 gates, both of which have signage saying, please be quiet, keep the noise down, silence please, etc. And then the door to the koala house itself has another sign, please keep noise levels to a minimum. With all those reminders, I figured people would get the memo, but as soon as we entered the enclosure, which was a small room indoors with a glass window looking into the koala pen, I spotted a couple in their early 30s with 2 young kids and a baby. I somewhat apprehensively tried to observe the koalas. They were so cute, and my little sister was happy to see them. But then, like clockwork, the baby starts crying. Hardly the baby's fault, it's a baby, they cry. So I gave the dad of the family the benefit of the doubt, thinking he'd either take the baby out or calm her down. A few moments pass and the baby gets more annoyed and cries louder. The koalas scurry away, hiding in their cubby holes, and others wake up from their sleeping. I give the dad the look. I feel like everyone knows the look. We've either had someone give it to us or given it to someone else. I'm not sure I'd ever been on this end of it, but I definitely received some looks at times. Baby continues to cry. I, being a socially awkward autistic teenager, grapple with the idea that the dad might have missed my giving him the look, so I do the classic. I shake my head and give a little sigh. No change. I throw another look his way, and this time a little more firm, but I feel like I overdo it. My eyes are a little too intense, perhaps, because suddenly the dad is saying, in the voice of someone who's just gotten a lecture, "Well, all right, mate, it's just a baby." To which I reply with a gesture towards the sign, "Silence, please." "But it's a baby," he says. "Well, don't bring a baby in here," I reply in a whisper. My parents jump on me thinking I'm out of line, and the couple and their kids give me the filthiest of looks and leave the enclosure, leaving me feeling very tense. What do we think? I feel like this is a very common struggle in a public place where there aren't always members of staff to enforce the rules. We want to pick our battles, of course, but this family bringing their baby in spoiled my little sister's magical moment of seeing a koala for the first time. Surely they should have seen the signs and thought, probably best to not bring little Charlie in. Or if they really wanted to see the koalas, the dad could have stayed outside with the baby and the mom and kids could have gone in. AITA? NTA. And to those saying it was not OP's place to enforce the quiet please signs, yes, it was. The koalas cannot protect themselves. They depend on humans to not deliberately hurt them by disturbing them with loud noise. And when some humans are dumb enough to not understand this, the smarter humans will have to tell them and make them stop. The zoo should have put a member of the staff in this room to stop this kind of nonsense. But since there was none, OP did the right thing. YTA, it's not your place to police other people. It's a zoo animal. I'm guessing that the koala is desensitized to noise. Have you ever actually been in the Aussie bush? Noisy as frick. Australian birds are obnoxiously noisy. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.